A very good afternoon for inside Blackpool Pleasure Beach on this very murky, rainy and cold day here in Blackpool. It is the 17th of November 2024 and finally back inside the park since being at the Alton Towers firework the previous weekend to see what is open, what developments have taken place, and obviously a general walk around on this miserable day here in Blackpool. Obviously, if you've been seeing some of the YouTube shorts and one of the updates from outside the park of the Grand Prix, you would clearly know that that ride is being taken down as we speak on the helix section. But obviously we didn't really focus on anything else like the ice blast that you can see here, and obviously some other sections of scaffolding that have been put up and quite a lot of ride closures currently. I did talk about that when outside the park on the promenade as well, about how if you are coming to these winter weekends in November, how they are charging a price within the £30 to £35 region, and there is barely anything open. Just beware about that. There is barely anything open. The majority of rides are closed, and those that are actually open are running one train because they have started the winter maintenance already. So let's crack on with this update and see what we can see today here from the Pleasure Beach. So yes, hello, welcome to this update today. Apologies if any rain does get on the camera or if any audio issues do take place. I'm filming this at about 2:30, 3:15 on the 17th of November, and well, it's been a pretty interesting morning and afternoon so far. There's barely been any rides open. You can just see Big One way in the distance there going over the lift hill. It's only just started testing for the day. They've been saying high winds, but it's barely been windy at all. It was shut yesterday as well. We've also got Icon closed, Revolution closed. Them rides would normally be open. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting for ride availability. Hopefully Big One does open, because it does look like there is some people sat on the front of the train. Probably do the trial run to make sure there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, to say 2:45, the ride's only just starting to test, and the park closes at 5 PM. Isn't very good at all, is it really? But yeah, let's have a look then at the ice blast. I've been showing obviously the top of the tower has been taken off, and I wondered where it was being placed. Just there, you can see it's right there. I would have thought it might have gone behind Valhalla, but no, they have just plonked it there. Obviously they have took off the flag, they took off the wind detector, but you can clearly see the height beacon there, obviously not turned on because there won't be any power. But yeah, it's just been placed there for now. I would imagine maybe get a little bit of refurbishment work on that, but they did do one on it a few years ago. But yeah, the actual tower pointed out as well in the Pleasure Beach car park. The blue central pipe was taken out, so it's just the red ones inside there, and I think the blue pipe is going to be scrapped as well, so they're going to have to get a new part. Maybe that is the part, it's a blue pipe for their actual ride, because the red ones are in there, and they are during the week sandblasting the tower, probably giving it a new fresh coat of paint as well. We've also got Loki's here on the side as well. That's completely covered in scaffolding. I'd imagine probably fixing the roof, because you can see up there the roof has actually come away, peeled away, probably from all the bad winds we do get here in Blackpool. But yeah, that's obviously shut. See the pathway here shut up, so I can't even go up there like I normally do to get a view of ice blast from up there. So yeah, it's shut there, and it's shut just at the exit for Valhalla, which is open on these cold winter weekends. Don't know anyone to be going on that now, but yeah, ice blast, scaffolding, Loki's, scaffolding. So obviously as soon as you come in the park, you're greeted by these scaffolding contraptions here. But yeah, Loki's has been shut now since the end of October, and I imagine obviously it won't be open until March next year for whatever work they are doing, probably painting, fixing up the roof, and obviously hopefully ice blast gets a fresh coat of paint throughout the winter. But yeah, we'll head up to the other side of ice blast and see what we can see from up there. But as we can see, the top of the tower has been placed there. Surprisingly, people are going on Valhalla on this wet, cold day. I won't be doing it, haven't done it since it got reimagined, so maybe next year for Valhalla, but I'm not doing it on this cold day. But we spin around to ice blast. There is the top of the tower. Don't realise until it's on the ground how big it actually is, and how big the height beacon is as well. Obviously you can see the flagpole on there, but I mentioned a few episodes ago they are selling the actual flag online. I think it's about 300 quid, surprisingly. We've got a green electricity generator down here providing power when the workmen are here during the week, because as I said, from outside the park I have seen them sandblasting the actual tower, probably removing this white paint off so I can give it a fresh coat of paint. Maybe it's going to get rethemed to fit with Loki's, which you can see there, engulfed in scaffolding, and obviously to fit in with Valhalla as well. It's going to be a Viking themed shot tower. Only time will tell, but obviously it is going to be getting a refurbishment. The park still haven't said anything on what's happening with this ride, but we can kind of tell now with what they've been doing to it, being pretty careful and stuff, erecting all this scaffolding to the very top. It is just going to get a refurbishment and not a removal. We're going to head over to the Bowl-A-Drome in a second. There has been no further updates with that. Neither river case, but it's mainly going to be focusing on the Grand Prix, because obviously we've seen from the tunnel during the week they have been knocking it down, but obviously this will be our first view from inside the park of the helix, which has now obviously been knocked down. But yeah, one final look here then at Ice Blast, the very top of the tower, and just all the other little bits and bobs you can see scattered around the base of the tower. So a look then here at the Bowl-A-Drome and the river caves there on the right, on this ramp that leads down to the fountains. No work has happened on either attraction for a while. Obviously the Bowl-A-Drome, I mentioned a few episodes ago that the inside had been gutted out, all the attractions and slot machines have been taken out, and that river caves also earlier in the year had its tyres and motors removed. But yeah, this Bowl-A-Drome, I imagine, may get removed during the winter. So yeah, not enough lot to talk about with Planet Rock, Bowl-A-Drome or the river caves, but we are going to talk about the Grand Prix in just a second and how much demolition they have done this past week to 2 weeks, and it has been an awful lot. One of the many big coasters closed at the park at the minute is the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper will not be open until I would imagine March next year, because it has already started its winter maintenance for the year. Both trains are located in the car park currently. So yeah, this closed unexpectedly, I think at the end of October for its maintenance. But this is one of the big coasters closed currently at the Pleasure Beach. You've got Icon behind, that's been closed all weekend for no apparent reason. Avalanche is open, but only on one train that hasn't got the greatest capacities anyway, has it? You've got Revolution there just behind the Avalanche, that's been closed all weekend unexpectedly, so I would imagine maybe that's now closed for its maintenance for the year, but the train is still in the station for that. Obviously I mentioned at the start, the big one has only just started to test at about 3:45, considering the park just closed in about 2 hours time at 5 o'clock. So yeah, not the greatest for ride availability at the minute. It's just obviously pre-warning it, if you are coming to the park, don't expect to get on a lot of attractions. So it's now 3 o'clock on the dot and Big One has finally opened for the day. Pretty shocking if you ask me. See them people there running for the Big One. I mean, good that it's got it open, I guess, for 2 hours, but you can see from the train, it's only on half a train. What's wrong with them back 2 carriages on Big One? If it is the wind, fair enough, but there is literally no wind here today in Blackpool. But fair play for getting it open. So, Grand Prix, look at the destruction they've done. Obviously we saw in the tunnel, which you can see just behind all the helix section, how this digger was ripping everything down. You can see here some of the white safety beams, which would have been the rail here on the side. Obviously we've got different bits of wood, different bits of steel mixed in there. You can see the centre running rail there has been twisted up and bent in all directions possible. and just the endless amounts of wood scattered about the whole ride area here. Obviously, if Icon was open, we'll be able to go right down there into Icon's Fast Pass Cube, but unfortunately that is closed. That seems to be the running theme for November now here at Pleasure Beach. Closed rides. But yeah, obviously I doubt, as I said in the tunnel, they're going to knock down this section of the helix, because look at how close it does get here to the pathway. And I mentioned as well, that section way over there in the tunnel does practically go over the avalanche turn there, so they will be waiting till after the season's finished to knock down obviously them sections. But come tomorrow, Monday, I would imagine they're going to knock down some more of this helix section here, maybe the inner side, just not the outer side. But obviously they do need to clear up some of this mess here as well, putting it into the right piles. Obviously earlier in the year I mentioned all the electricity wiring was underneath that bridge. I was literally stood where that bench is there. Fortunately that's not possible anymore either. You can just see one of the old bases for the supports there, so that'll be pretty extent to try and get that out as well. They've kept the fountain intact for now, so maybe they're trying to keep that in one piece as they try and work around that to knock obviously the River Cays down. The station's all intact at the minute for the Grand Prix, and obviously under the bridge there the ride does go down, which you can see over there. The bridge, that's part of the ride area there. They have left that all intact, probably again for the same reason, because obviously Avalanche is currently operating until the end of the year. They don't need to interrupt that ride and have another one closed here at the park. But yeah, you can just see the amount of mess, the amount of destruction, the amount of twisted metal everywhere going on at the Grand Prix currently. You can walk down over there to the steps. I'll probably head round there and meant to get a view from that angle. But yeah, the amount of destruction they've done in the past week to 2 weeks that I've been seeing from inside the tunnel is pretty extent. Let's just see how so Avalanche runs, because when it is wet, the Avalanche just crawl into the brakes. Look at that, it's struggling. Look at that. Is it going to make it? I think it's just made it, but that is incredibly slow. It baffles me really. It gets all that speed from that, and then one helix back up, it loses it. Quite ironic for a ride that's meant to be ice themed, snow themed, but it can't operate in cold conditions or rain. But yeah, one quick look there then at the Grand Prix. So here's going to be a look then at the Grand Prix from obviously down in the bowels of the street. So this is normally the exit to Dipper, disability entrance just down there for Infusion, and the fast pass entrance there for Icon if it's open, but it's not. Yeah, this bit of the helix then and bit of track up there is all still intact. Obviously I've been showing you from that side of the wall in the tunnel, the best I have been doing. But yeah, I mentioned that obviously in the tunnel, I would imagine this section of the Grand Prix here is going to be the most challenging, because obviously the rest of it is all steel girders and wood, but you can clearly see there the difference in the wood and where the concrete base starts, and the actual track here is all concrete as well, so that's going to be pretty challenging for just that digger. Unless they get the one that grinds away and eats at the concrete. Yeah, you can see here another angle of how close the track and pathway do get. So they can remove the inner section of the helix, but I am surprised though that they have started this demolition already whilst the park is weekends. But obviously it's not affecting any of the other rides. They did it the best way possible. Do the sections that they can, but obviously wait until the park is closed to do the other section. Let's move our way down here then, so we can see the extent of the damage. Like I say, during the first lot of demolition, they were knocking down the station, and bits of debris were going into the tunnel here, if you remember me saying in the last episode. But yeah, look at this now. To think the millions of cars when it used to be, and obviously electricity powered, that have travelled over this empty section now. And obviously I've been on this ride plenty of times. You can get a great view there of what's left of the first turn out the station. They have removed the concrete base, it's just a steel truss, but as I keep saying, because it's that close to Avalanche there, and obviously because it's Park Light tightly packing in their rides, this is the only issue. Obviously when you have an operator, you can't do everything all at once. you get another shot here of one of those side rails, one of those side beams there. You can see from the helix section all down here been placed. Bloody hell, the sun's finally come out, first time today. I've actually got some sunshine here in Blackpool. It's been terrible all day, it's been wet, it's been on and off showers, it's been absolutely horrible, cold, just that horrible winter feeling. But yeah, that sun's finally coming out. Because the big one's finally open for the day. Maybe that's what it was waiting for. Yeah, let's have a quick look here through the gap in the fence. Just the extent of wood you can just see piled up all in what was the Bradley and Bella sensory garden. Obviously that's currently closed for obvious reasons, because the digger there in the distance has obviously been eating away at all of this Grand Prix track. Just a quick look here at the former entrance of the Bradley and Bella sensory garden. Obviously we used to have a shed here, but it's now been replaced with one of the many buckets that the digger can obviously swap from. Obviously it's currently got the claw on at the minute, and obviously it can swap to the scoop we can see here, or a bigger scoop that we can see here. The entrance for the Grand Prix obviously was up there. The queue line is all still intact with the station. Nothing has changed with that. And obviously the first turn will come from under the queue line there, obviously run there, which you can see from this angle how the foundation floor has gone, and just the steel supports and steel running rails, which you can see obviously there's some on the floor here, and just the amount of wiring, wood, trees that they've chopped down. They've knocked down a lot of different things here for the Grand Prix. I imagine obviously starting tomorrow being the Monday that they will continue with more of the demolition that they can do whilst the park is in operation. Obviously zoom down to that end, I would imagine say the left hand side of the helix will be knocked down, but the right hand side that runs near to the tunnel and to all the pathways will carry on delaying that until after the 30th of November, and hopefully they knock down that fountain, but May would have been told to try the best to keep that intact. So that's going to do it then with the Grand Prix update for today. We'll walk around the rest of the park, see what we can see. If not, the next shot will obviously be the closing outro for this interesting Pleasure Beach video. Well, I said it was going to dip, and look, Avalanche has dipped. A ride themed on snow, ice, cold conditions, and it can't even operate in it. Every time it comes into this helix, into the brakes in these conditions, it just comes in like a snail and sits there. So that's probably another ride closed for the day here in this closed Pleasure Beach, because barely anything is open. So you pay your £35 to look at closed rides, stalled rides, and obviously construction sites. Good job, Pleasure Beach. Another one bites the dust here at Pleasure Beach. Avalanche, after it kept dipping on that last clip, has now closed for the day. So another one to add to the closed list for today. Avalanche. So Rev, another one of the closed rides here at Pleasure Beach. Closed for unknown reasons, you tell me. I've no idea why it's closed. I've no idea why this and Icon are closed. There is a small section of scaffolding there, but I wouldn't imagine that's got anything to do with the ride at all. It's nowhere near. But yeah, apparently it was closed yesterday on the Saturday. But last time I was in the park before the Towers fireworks, it was open. Nothing seemed to be troubling the ride. But obviously between the Towers fireworks and now, it's closed. No reason why. It's not even on the planned maintenance for it being closed. So, could just be like the rest of the park. They can't be bothered telling you. Just rather take your money so you can stare at these rides and not actually go on them. But yeah, Revolution, another one closed. Just obviously pre-warning you, if you are planning on coming to the park, you're probably not going to be going on this ride either. Two more rides closed here. Obviously if you're coming with kids or families, you're not going on either of these either. Eddie Stobart convoy ride just across the way there. Another one for kids, closed as well. Not to mention, obviously, if you're coming from Nickelodeon Land, you've got a few rides in there closed already for the season. Obviously, that area does normally close an hour before park close anyway. But yeah, you've got Eddie Stobart closed, Thompson Carousel on the Alpine Rally here, closed. Got the Dodgems over there, they've been closed from probably about summertime. I've lost count and lost interest on that, but yeah, that's been closed. Cars somewhere in the resort, I've no idea where. But yeah, it's just looking like the park is just ready to close now. There's barely anything going, and the staff that are here just seem pretty fed up with the endless things shut, breaking down. And obviously the weather's probably not helping them either. So So yeah, let's see what else we can see here on today's closed Pleasure Beach update. So I come over the Big One bridge to obviously find Revolution closed, which for, as I said, unknown reasons. Steeplechase was just sat on a lift hill, probably closed, but now it's testing, so God knows what's up with this ride as well. But there was a horse on the red lane just sitting there, probably just admiring the other closed rides in the area. Obviously you got Big Dipper under there, closed. Just running theme today, closed. It's my favourite 5-letter word, that. But yeah, everything here is just closed. It's not looking good for the park. Another one bites the dust here at Pleasure Beach. The Grand National. It was open at some point today, but at some point this afternoon decided to bugger it. Let's just close it. No idea why. Has this one now suffered a technical error that they're not going to bother fixing until next year? But yeah, it was open before, but now it's closed. So yeah, I would highly suggest, if you are planning on coming and haven't bought your tickets already for these November weekends, do not bother, because there's barely anything open. So you're paying somewhere in the early 30s for practically nothing of interest really, because as we say, we've got Big Dipper closed, Grand National closed, Avalanche closed, Icon closed, obviously Dodgems, Alpine Rally, Thompson Carousel all closed. So yeah, barely anything is worth open and worth coming for. So yeah, please do not come and waste your money here today or any of these November weekends. Just wait for next year for the new season to start. But yeah, closed today is the running theme today from Pleasure Beach. So the day has come to an end. This update has come to an end, and one absolutely shocking day it's been here at the Pleasure Beach. It's been the worst, if not one of the worst times I've had at this park in a very long time, and that is a real thing to say, and a shame to see this park suffering so bad today. The amount of endless closed rides, that's been the theme today, closed rides. Obviously we know about the ones that have been closed all year, that's acceptable, but the ones like Revolution, Avalanche, Big Dipper, the Grand National, stuff like that has been closed for no reason. Icon, one of your main rides, Icon, that's been closed all day for no reason whatsoever. Nothing announced, nothing on the planned maintenance page. It's been absolutely shocking. So once again, I urge, if you have not bought your tickets for these November weekends, do not bother. We had Big One open up late at 3 o'clock today. The park closed at 5, so yeah, you only had 2 hours to go on that ride today. Absolutely shocking. So, but positives, it was good to see. Obviously the ice splash there, you can see just in the darkness. Good to see some more work happening with that. Good to see the demolition finally taking place on the Grand Prix. When will the Bowl-A-Drome be knocked down? I would imagine over the close season, maybe January time. Who knows on that one? But yeah, it's just been a right disappointing day. So people, you could see the disappointing look in people's faces, and I'm pretty sure the park have been doing free returns for any of the late night riding events for next year, because they have realised it's been an absolutely shocking time today. Sad thing to say and see, but it's the truth today. So yeah, as I said, if you've got your tickets coming, then hopefully you'll have a better day, and hopefully there won't be as many issues like there has been this weekend. But if you haven't, just wait until March next year, wait until the season is back in full flow next year. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video today, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and I'll be back with more Pleasure Beach updates with the Grand Prix, Ice Blast and various different park changes until the 30th of November, when the season comes to an end. But it needs to be closed now. The park needs to be like it is now, closed up, because after today, what a shocker.